Oh, would you look at that? More leopard print sneaking into the wardrobe. Hey guys, thanks for coming back to check out another video. So, you can see by the title, it is the mid-year makeup inventory. I like to do these. I feel like it helps keep me more accountable. One big thing is that I know I did some stress shopping while we were in the midst of moving, but I didn't think I did that bad until I did this inventory and I was like, oh, Haley, you need to rein yourself in. So I hope you guys are excited to do this. I absolutely love watching these kinds of videos. In the description box, I will leave listed my makeup inventory from January of 2021 in case you want to check that out. Hopefully also what I can do for you in the description box is list some timestamps of different things in case you don't care about certain categories. I just have pictures on my phone that I will be referencing, so I will be looking down for probably a good bit of this video. If that's annoying to you, then just click off, no feelings hurt. But I don't have like we're not going to actually go through my drawers. I just find that when I try to film it that way, I end up taking so much longer than if I just show you the picture. Also on the screen, what I'm going to leave for you guys is how many items I had in January versus how many I have now. And I will try to remember to include like, here's how many I've used up, here's how many I decluttered, and here's how many I purchased and like, you know, brought into my collection. So on that note, when I say decluttered, I mean like before we moved, I did actually declutter some of my makeup. It wasn't like an impulsive or rash decision, but that was such a chaotic like time period. I did not even have time to even think about sitting down to film that for you guys and like show you the things that are leaving. But also the decluttered like piece will count makeup that I unfortunately lost while I was moving. I tried to be super careful in how I packed my makeup, but some of it unfortunately just cracked, shattered, and broke, and it was just horrendous to deal with. And then with the purchase category, it obviously includes items that I myself have purchased and brought in, but it also includes items that were gifted to me through like friends and family. It's too hard to try to differentiate and like keep track of all of that, so it just exists as one like category to me. All of my pictures, I think I ended up taking, I think I finished my makeup inventory on like May 30th or 31st. I don't remember. It was one of those two. And so that's when I took all my pictures and everything like that. So if you have a eagle eye, you might notice some items that are missing that are in project pans because hint, hint, they've been finished off. So see if you can spot the spoilers in the pictures. But without any further rambling, let's just get on into this. My battery is about to die, of course. Okay, battery has been changed. Sorry if the like angle or anything of the video has changed. I can't really help that. I don't think it should look too off. But let's get started. We will start off with primers. So I have 6 primers currently in my collection. I am not mad about that at all. If my memory serves me correctly, the only primer that I have purchased since January is the Smashbox Photo Finish Primer. That was the only thing I purchased during the Ulta 21 Days of Beauty sale. That is one of my like favorite go-to primers, and it's one of those that I like kept forgetting that I like as much as I do, which I know sounds really weird, but when I like finished, or I had like a deluxe size sample that I know I have finished off, but that was why I decided to purchase that. Those two that you're seeing from e.l.f., it's the e.l.f. Luminous and the e.l.f. Pore Putty Primer. I cannot stand those. I think they are just terrible primers. Like, I just don't like them, but I don't have anyone to like pass them on to, and they're not so terrible that I can't use them up. So I really want those gone by the end of the year. That e.l.f. Pore Putty, I just don't find that it does anything. Like, I think the Smashbox Photo Finish Primer actually does a better job of like helping to reduce the appearance of my pores than the putty primer from e.l.f. So all right, the next category we are going to talk about, I actually don't have a picture for, so it's color correctors. I had one back in January, and I think it was sometime around March, maybe April. It wasn't like too terribly long ago, but long enough. I did end up finishing off that color corrector, and I just haven't really felt a need to like replace that. So I don't think that's a category that's going to continue to exist in my collection. Like, never say never, but it's been a few months, like at least 1 month since I've finished off that color corrector, and I just haven't missed it, haven't needed it. So yay, one category no longer exists. Okay, so BB creams, that is the next one. I only have 2. And I feel like I go back and forth on if I like BB creams or not. Like, could a foundation do the same thing? Yeah, probably. But I like them that they are a little bit more lightweight. I don't tend to set my BB creams. Like, it tends to be I wear those when I want like a no makeup day. So I really enjoy the two that I have in my collection. I have the Pretty Fresh from ColourPop, and then I have the Urban Decay Hydromaniac Ultra Tinted Moisturette. It's a BB cream. Those are the two that I have. Continue to work on them and use them and love on them. Okay, so foundations. I currently have 6 in my collection, and I'm not even mad about that. I believe in January I had 6 as well. I have finished off a few of them. Like, I know for sure, I can tell you guys that NYX Born to Glow that you're seeing in the picture is my second bottle. I did have one in January. That was the only foundation that I left out when we were moving, and so I finished it off. I absolutely love that. It is probably one of my favorite like drugstore foundations. So I went ahead and repurchased it. I do want you to just quickly note, I am not someone who buys like my winter shade and my summer shade. I just tend to keep the same shade of foundation, and then I'll use bronzer or like maybe a darker like powder foundation to help like color correct anything and make it match a little bit better. But that Becca and that Smashbox foundation are far too light. I thought I had done a pretty good job of shade matching myself online, but I think you can tell in the picture, like all other foundations in the picture, the other 4 match me so well. And I think that if you look and compare the colors between the 4 in the picture and then the Smashbox and the Becca, you can tell just how light those 2 are. So you probably won't hear me mention these again until like fall or winter when I can pull them out. Concealers. I have 5 concealers. I don't know why I do this to myself. I always get down here and like I say like, oh, I only want like 2 or 3 concealers. Why do I need more than that? But then I get curious about like another concealer, and so I buy one. So I know I've finished off at least 2 this year so far, if my memory serves me correctly. I mean, you're seeing it on the screen, so whatever you're seeing on the screen is correct. But I know I had my eye on the one from Rare Beauty, and I really do like that. I think it's a great concealer. And then I know I was gifted the e.l.f. one, so 5 isn't terrible. Like, it's not terrible. I'm not going to beat myself up. This is a no judgment zone here, okay? So no apologies from here on out about the items. Okay, so this next picture might look a little overwhelming. It's pressed powders. I have 5 of them. So I feel like it looks a little overwhelming because 2 of the things you're seeing are like face palettes. Like, one's from Wet n Wild, and so it has a bronzer in it, so like that doesn't count. And then the other one is my Hourglass palette, which has some blushes and a bronzer in it as well. So if I open up the face palette, I try my best to cover up the pans that don't count for the category, but you can obviously see a powder blush from the Hourglass palette, so don't count that in. But yeah, I have 5, and I am almost near done. I actually filmed the repressing video this morning. But I am almost finished with that Essence powder and the Wet n Wild powder. So I don't know when you'll see the repressing video, but now that I've repressed them, it'll be far much easier to like use them up and get them moved out, which would feel amazing to be down 2 more powders. Okay, next is loose powders, and I have 3. I like loose powders to like set down my eyeshadow primer, my concealer, do around like my nose and my smile lines and things like that. I just think since they're a little bit more like finely milled than like a pressed powder, that they work a little bit better in that way to help prevent like creasing and stuff like that. But I don't need 3. So, and they go so slowly. Like, I'm gonna have these 3 for like the next 6 years, I feel like. And I'm kind of like kicking myself in the butt. I filmed that like 31 makeup items I want to use up in 2021, and I went to go and see like, oh, how many of those have I actually used up? I've only used up 5 items from that video where I was like, I want to use these up. And one of them, I picked like random things that I should have thought more about, because I picked that CYO loose powder to finish off. Like, that is going to take forever. I'm not going to have that finished off by the end of the year. Okay, so next is cream bronzers. I have 2 in my collection. Now, I know I finished off a bronzing stick from Wet n Wild, and then I just had the one from Milk Makeup, which I absolutely love. I have mine in the shade Baked, in case you're curious. And I've said like many a time, like, I only want 1 cream bronzer. Like, I love the Milk Makeup one. I don't have a need for multiple ones, and that's still true. The ColourPop is actually a Super Shock Cheek. It is in the shade Too Cool for School. That was part of my birthday gift from my parents, and it's I don't know. I think when I looked it up online, it said that it was supposed to be like a peachy kind of blush, but it is far too dark like for me to wear as a blush. So I can actually get away with using it as a cream bronzer. And so it is like a little bit darker than the Milk Makeup one, but I don't think it'll be a problem like trying to finish that off during the summer. And I feel like it's going to go by a lot faster than if I was using it as a blush, because I like apply bronzer to more areas of my face than I do blushes. So alright, so let's talk about powder bronzers. I do like to separate my creams from my powders. Like it just, I don't know, it makes me feel better about my life. So I have 11 powder bronzers that you're seeing. Yeah, I'm actively, I guess, working on like 2 of them, I guess 3 of them, because I am trying to work on the Bonnie Luminizer. That is technically a highlighter, but it's too dark for me and I like to use it as a glowy bronzer. And then I'm working on the CYO one in the Graveyard Project pan, and then I'm just like low-key trying to finish off that one from Ulta. It would be amazing if I could finish off the CYO and the one from Ulta. I don't remember the last time I finished off a bronzer. I don't think I finished off a bronzer in the year 2020. I could be wrong. Like I would have to go back and look at my yearly makeup empties video from that year, but I really don't remember the last time I finished off a powder bronzer. And that was one of those things where if you had asked me before I started like keeping track of this kind of stuff, I would have like overconfidently been like, I go through like 10 bronzers a year. Alright, cream blush. I have 11 in my life, and yeah, I'm not mad at it. I really like cream products. I like to layer them with powdered products, so I feel like that's how I make a lot of good use out of these items, is like I'm, you know, not multitasking, but I am using like multiple items. So having a cream blush doesn't take away from me using a powder blush necessarily. Now there are times where I do just wear the cream products, but I'm quite happy with the size of my cream blush collection. One thing I wish I would have realized earlier though is that I much more prefer cream blushes that are in like pans. So like how the Fenty Beauty is in a pan of its own, or like the CYO, or even like the Balm How About Them Apples blush palette. Like they're all pans of blushes. I like that format a lot more than I do like the stick or the, you know, the cream, or not the cream, the stick or the like liquid where you squeeze it out of the squeezy tube and things like that. It's not bad. Like I will, you know, slowly but surely work on using all of these up, but it's just something for me to keep in mind in the future when like a cream blush catches my eye. Like really pay attention to the packaging. All right, so powder blushes. I don't know what went on with this picture, but it is like quite dark in the picture, but I have 30 powdered blushes. Far too many for one person to be putting on their cheeks. Like you only wear one blush a day, you know, like, I mean, I know I wear a cream blush too, but you get what I'm saying. It's not like you put one shade over here and a different shade over here. So I am definitely on like a blush no buy. I should be on a no buy for a lot of things, but either way, I really do. I try to sit down and like swatch and go through these things, like these categories that feel overwhelming, like so blushes with 30. But when I sit down and look at them and swatch them out, like I either really love them all, or like they're all like a slightly different variation of the same shade, which I know you're sitting there and thinking like, well, can't you part with them then? But no, because I really do enjoy all of them, so I don't want to part with them. And I've found in the past, like when I do part with things and declutter things, then I have a bad habit of being like, well, I decluttered, so now I can go out and buy more. So I would rather just keep the 30, feel slightly overwhelmed, but know that when a new blush comes on the market and it catches my eye, that I probably already have something very similar in my collection. All right, cream highlighters. So I do have 9 of those in my collection. Now, 9 is a big jump from what it was in January. I think I only had like 5. I have purchased some, I'm not gonna lie to you, but also I did move some things around. So my ColourPop Super Shock highlighters used to be just counted in with my powder highlighters, but they are like a cream to powder product, so I would rather have those exist in my cream highlighter collection. So that's why this number seems like it has changed so much as well, because I do have 3 ColourPop Super Shock highlighters. So, but I am greatly, I just really love liquid highlighters, especially not the Super Shock highlighters, but like your standard traditional cream highlighters or liquid highlighters. I like to mix those in with my foundations. I feel like it gives you like a nice glow, especially if you like a matte foundation like I do. So yeah, I am not mad at this. Okay, so powdered highlighters, there's 23, I think. It'll be the correct numbers on the screen. If I say something different than what you're seeing on the screen, the screen is correct, not me. But 23 highlighters. That is a lot, and it takes a lot longer to use up a highlighter than I thought. And I'm really embarrassed because a lot of my highlighter collection is like the light champagne gold colors. Like, how many times do you need that repeated? You don't. But again, it's much like blushes, where I feel like if I declutter them, then I'm going to like miss them and want to repurchase them, and it's just kind of wasteful, you know. Like, I'm just gonna keep them and keep loving on them and try to make better decisions about when I do, if there is a highlighter I want to bring in, like have like a valid reason for bringing it in. Like, is it a different color, or is it, you know, just something like that. Like, make a more conscious decision. Okay, brow products. I only have two, and they are the same products, but one is just like the unopened backup. I really thought I would run out of the ABH Dip Brow Pomade quicker than I anticipated, but I had to rehydrate the one I was using, and so when I added the little bit of like jojoba oil to it, it made it much more like liquidy, which it's not hard to work with. Like, it's fine to work with it, but it kind of like thinned out the product. And so by doing that, I think it's taking a little bit longer to actually use it up than I anticipated. So that is why I have two, but I did take the cap off of the one that I'm actively using. That way you guys could see, like, there's really not a whole lot left in there. I think that I could have it done by the end of this year, if not sooner, but I'm not gonna like, I always say things like that, like, oh, I'll have it done, you know, by this time, and then it takes longer than I think. So I'm not going to promise that, but I think it could be out by the end of the year, which would be amazing. Lip primers. This is another one, much like color correctors. I cannot wait to hopefully come back in January 2022, which sounds really weird to say, but I can't wait to film that video and hopefully be able to tell you that this category no longer exists. So I just have the one lip primer from NYX, and I don't know. I don't feel like it really does anything, so I don't really want a lip primer in my life, you know? Okay. I think my pictures got jumbled around on my phone a little bit because we haven't done like eyeliner or eye primer, but we did brows. I don't know why it skips around like that, but forgive me. So lip liners is the category we are going to talk about now, and I have 6 if I'm looking at my picture correctly. I know that I used to only have 4, I think, so I did purchase two from Essence to bring into my life. I felt like I needed something like a bit more of like a deeper brown, and then one that was more of like a pinky brown, so that was why I bought those 2. I really like all of the lip liners in my collection. I think they all serve their purpose. I am really trying to hardcore work on finishing off that little guy that you're seeing at the bottom of the picture. So that's from Essence, and it is the shade 06 Under My Skin, I think is what it's called. It's a really pretty, just like neutral pink. Like, I feel like it works with basically any lip color or any lip product. So, but yeah, I can't wait to have that one finished off, just so I can be like, oh, I finished one off. Okay, so these are what I classify as liquid lipsticks. So I have the 2 from Oden's Eye, the 3 from Rare Beauty, which are lip souffles, and then I have the Ultra Blotted Lip from ColourPop. I guess some of those aren't technically liquid lipsticks. Like, those lip souffles from Rare Beauty feel really nice and comfortable on your lips. They do dry down a little bit, but it's not like in an uncomfortable way. Those lip stains from Oden's Eye, they do dry down and feel like a little bit stiff and like sandpapery, but if you put a lip gloss on top of them, it's no big deal. All right, so the next one is bullet lipsticks, or like just traditional lipsticks, and I have 12 of them. I'm not mad at that. Again, it's like the liquid lipsticks and the lip glosses. Like, I have enough in my collection. I don't need any more. I have all of the colors that I could ever want, and so I'm just happy with it. I do want to do a video where I swatch all of my lipsticks, but I haven't decided, like, would arm swatches or lip swatches be better? Probably lip swatches, but I have dead purple lips, like, just naturally, so the lip colors look a little funny. That's not the point of this. All you need to know is that I got 12 bullet lipsticks, and we ain't close to finishing any of them. Alright, lip glosses. I have 19. I know that I've only used up 2 so far this year, and I did declutter quite a few of them before I moved. I did get rid of a lot of the samey lip gloss shades that I had. I gifted those to a friend, and then I think there was one I had gotten, like the ColourPop Ultra Glossy Lip Vault that they were selling at Ulta. One of those lip glosses was just like this really weird like gray shade. So I got rid of that one. Like, I know I've decluttered some along the way. I haven't used up as many lip glosses as I would have liked to by this point. I think in 2020 I finished off 4 in total, and I was really hoping that this year I could maybe finish off like at least 4, if not maybe more, like 6 lip glosses. I know we're only halfway through the year, so we'll see see like what ends up happening. But yeah, I've only finished off 2 so far. All right, lip balm. So I have 6, and I'm not worried about it. I can pan eyeshadows really well, but I can also pan some lip balms really well. I think last year I used up like 10. So I do have 6. Those ones from Burt's Bees, just buyer beware, they are not good. I thought they would be a dupe for the Pharmacy Honey Butter Lip Balm, and they're not. They're stiff, they're kind of drying. Like those are the 2 lip balms that I'm working on right now. I keep one in the bedroom, like by the bed, and then I keep one here in the living room. So hopefully by the end of summer, I will have those used up, because there's no way I can get through like using them in the fall and winter. Like they're stiff, and they just don't feel hydrating like whatsoever. Okay, eyeliners. I have 3. Now, I will tell you, I did use up an eyeliner. So the Essence eyeliner that you were seeing in the picture is a repurchase. And then I purchased a black eyeliner because I don't know. I go through my scene kid days where I'm like, I want a black eyeliner. So I don't really have a need to have 2 peachy nude eyeliners in my collection. I realize that. But the ColourPop one, it's the Creme Gel Liner in the shade Honey Dude. It is so horrible. I don't like it. It's just more stiff compared to the Essence one. The Essence one is so creamy. It goes on so nicely. But that ColourPop one, I almost feel like I'm poking myself in the eyeball when I use it. And like, I know they dry out quickly, but like when I take it and like do it on the back of my hand, like it still feels fine and creamy. So I don't know what it is that like actually putting it in the waterline just is so torturous. Like it feels horrible. So that might actually be one that I just unfortunately declutter. Unfortunately, I think it would just go in the bin if I did declutter it, because since it's an eye product, I don't feel comfortable like passing that along to anybody. But yeah, I'm not overwhelmed or like unhappy with the eyeliners that I have in my collection. Okay, Lash Primer. So I have 2. I have one from Milani and one from Milk Makeup. The Milani one is the only one that is currently open. The reason I got the one from Milk Makeup was because I thought the Milani one was like gonna die. Like I have had that opened since last year, maybe since the fall. Like it is crazy. I don't adhere to the like 6-month or 4-month rule. I just go till they go. But yeah, the product still comes out in like a nice good amount. Like it still feels fine. I don't have any like negative reactions to it when I wear it, and I absolutely love that eye primer. I really just wanted to try the one from Milk Makeup, and it was on sale, so like I bought it. Sometimes I buy the high-end things when they're on sale, like a treat yourself, you know. All right, mascaras. I have 4. So I used to have the like little mini 4-pack from Benefit. However, my mom really loves Benefit mascaras, but she won't like buy them for herself because they're so expensive. Like, I mean, really, who wants to pay 20 bucks for a mascara? I can't blame her, because I don't either. So I had those, and I had already opened up the Roller Lash, which is my personal favorite from Benefit, but she really likes the what was the other one in that package? The Bad Gal, I think. So anyway, I gave the remaining 3 from that mini pack to her. And then I was so super curious about that L'Oreal Air Volume Mascara. I've heard such mixed reviews on it now after like purchasing it. But that is the next mascara that I plan to open once my Benefit one bites the dust. And then I obtained the Tarte Maneater Mascara as like the birthday gift from Ulta. Okay, eye primers. I have 6. So I do have 3 colored bases, which I'm fine with. I do like using those. I don't use them like every day, but I do feel like they really help make certain eyeshadows pop, or they're really fun to use to help like transform a shadow. So I don't mind having those. And then I have my all-time favorite NYX glitter glue. That is just amazing to like apply shimmer shades on top of. So love having that in my collection. And then I know I've said before, like, oh, I only want to have like one traditional eye primer, and I did have that. I finished off my Urban Decay one that I had, like just the original one. So that's when I bought the Rare Beauty one. Well, I don't know, like it feels fine. It applies nicely. It's like a fine eyeshadow primer, but I've just been experiencing a lot of fading with some of my darker eyeshadows when I go to like wear them in the outer V or on the like things like that, smoked out, or you know, try to do a smoky eye. And it's with palettes that I don't remember having that issue with. So like I have never had a problem with like my ABH Jackie Ina palette, but then I've noticed like some of the darker shades are fading on me, and so I really think it's that Rare Beauty eye primer. So I did purchase the one from Milani. I've had my eye on it for quite some time, and I've heard a lot of people rave about it. So today, as I'm filming this, is actually the first day that I've worn the Milani one, so fingers crossed that I actually like don't experience any of that fading. And if it is the Rare Beauty eyeshadow primer and it's causing that, I might just pass it on to someone. Like, I would be upfront with them and tell them my issues with it, but it might not, you know, be around in my collection because I'm not gonna fool with that. Okay, setting sprays. I have 5 setting sprays, which I think is fine. Like, maybe 3 is a better number, but I try to set goal numbers for myself and then I just never stick with it, or I get like overwhelmed or bummed out. So I don't really want to do that for myself, but I am really happy with this category overall. Now, 2 of those, the 2 from CoverGirl, I don't really count as setting sprays necessarily. I really like to, in the summer months, have the MAC Fix Plus, and so I will put my primers down and then spray Fix Plus on my face, and I just feel like that helps make my makeup last longer in the heat and the humidity. But MAC Fix Plus is kind of expensive, so I saw these from CoverGirl and they were buy one get one half off, so I was like kind of suckered into that deal. But they are their version of like the Max Fix Plus from what I understand. So I've been using the cucumber scented one in that way, like I spray down my primers with it. So far so good. I really like it, but it's just now like June whatever 2nd. What is today? Is it the 2nd? It is June 2nd, right? My phone's not going to tell me what day it is. Anyway, the point of this, yes, it's June 2nd. The point of this is that we're not really in like the hottest part of the summer yet. So I really don't know if the CoverGirl will make as much of a difference as the Max Fix Plus, but I'm really excited to try it. And then I really like the e.l.f. That is actually a repurchase that was gifted to me, and I love the Urban Decay setting spray. The Ofra one is the only one where I'm like, oh, I hate this. And sad thing is that's a repurchase too. I used one of those off and then repurchased it, even though I didn't really like it. I just don't find that it helps take down the powderiness of my makeup. And it has like this weird perfumey scent, which does dissipate after it like dries down, but it's pretty intense while you're spraying your face. So I'm going to repeat it now. You guys say it with me. I will not buy the Ofra setting spray again. All right, let's look at cream eyeshadows. So I have 13 in my collection. There is 3 that are like liquid type eyeshadows where you put them on with a dofa, 2 from Stila and 1 from Natasha Denona. I have 2 of the L'Oreal eyeshadows. I have a like little DIY cream eyeshadow that is a Stila Glitter and Glow mixed with some loose pigment and things. It's what I'm working on in the Graveyard Project pan. And then I have 7 ColourPop Super Shock eyeshadows, and I really like the ColourPop Super Shocks. And so the newest one, well, I have 2. One was gifted and one I purchased. So I was gifted the shade Empire, which is this gorgeous dark green color, and I think it looks really good, I think, with my like really dark brown eyes. And then I have always lusted after the shade Couche, but they discontinued it, and then I can never like find it like online or anything. But when I was at Ulta the other day, like picking out some skincare stuff, I saw that they were selling Couche like in store, so I went ahead and picked it up for myself. Out of all of my cream eyeshadow, well, at least the ColourPop ones, I only have 3 out of the ColourPops that don't have pan on them. So it's Roy G. Biv, Empire, and Couche. So I would really like to make a goal that by, you know, here in like the next 2 months, I at least have pan on all of my ColourPop Super Shock eyeshadows. Okay, so loose eyeshadows, I have 7. And loose eyeshadows is something that is super underutilized in my collection, but I really love the shades of all of these loose eyeshadows that I have. So again, I don't want to like get rid of any of them or declutter any of them. I think they perform really well. They're really nice. They're fun. I like layering them on top of other eyeshadows, and they're not as intimidating as I thought they would be, like to work with and, you know, to apply and things like that. So I'm just going to keep it at 7. I'm going to try to whittle that down. It would be nice to finish off one of them this year, but I don't know. I don't know how that's going to go. All right, 2 more categories. So the picture you are seeing is all of my single or depotted eyeshadows, and I have 55 that you are seeing. So some of them are in my Fantasy Self palette that I'm doing with Laura. Some of them are just like my standard go-to matte cream shades, so I keep them in like their own little palette. And then I have my huge like Adept palette that houses just basically all of my singles. So I know it's decreased. I think I had like around 70 before, or like at the beginning of the year, but I had to get rid of quite a few of the Dandelion eyeshadows. You guys saw, I think it was in my last Fantasy Self update video, like those shadows were crumbling and like cracking on me. A few of them cracked in the move. Like, I like the Dandelion's shimmer formula, but their matte formula is just not firmly pressed enough in my opinion. And I know you'd think like, okay, well just repress it yourself. Like add a little bit of alcohol and press it down, it'd be fine. I did that with one of them and it like continuously got hard pan on the eyeshadow. So I don't recommend doing that with that particular brand's eyeshadows. But yeah. Okay, last category. This one takes a lot for me to admit to you, but it's eyeshadow palettes. I have 49 of them. So there were some, like I said, I did some stress shopping. So I've definitely bought some palettes where I'm like, I just want it, and didn't really like put a lot of thought in behind it. I was gifted some. I did have a birthday in May, so that was a very thoughtful and sweetful gesture from friends and family. I greatly appreciate any, thing that I'm gifted, but especially eyeshadow palettes. Like that's always nice. And then a few of them, I had a few palettes break, like I've said before, during my moving process. So then I did replace a few palettes. So the purchased number of palettes looks a little ridiculous, but that's basically why. Like, for instance, my Morphe 35OM palette that I was gifted by Kaylee, that one didn't survive the move. So, but instead of replacing like that whole big Morphe palette, I bought the Juvia's Place, the Warrior 2, because that has like all of those really grounding neutral shades that I loved from the Morphe palette. So that was one thing. My Lorac Mega Pro 2 unfortunately did not survive the move, but you're seeing it in a picture. So I know that palette has been discontinued, and a lot of people, you can make your own feelings on this, but I did find it being sold online, obviously like used but not used, like it was new in the box. And so I did repurchase that because that's one of my all-time favorite eyeshadow palettes. So, it's a learning process, but I think 49 is enough palettes, Haley, okay? Let's remember that the next time you're like, oh, I want a palette. No. So again though, no apologies. I'm not gonna, I hate it when people get on here and it's almost like, oh, I'm embarrassed by what I have. Like, don't be, okay? Like, this is a judgment-free zone, okay? Okay. But that's it. That is the wrap up of my June makeup inventory. Hopefully this video was not too long. I'm looking at the time in the camera and it's 37 minutes. So we go in this now. I thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you're having a good day, a good night, a good whatever. And I will catch you in the next one. Bye.